Welcome to the Buddhist Wisdom Channel. Throughout history, many religions have been associated with beliefs considered beyond question. These beliefs are often set as standards, rarely open to doubt. Those who question them may be seen as misguided, and those who do not believe may be viewed as having strayed from the right path. Beyond personal belief, religion in certain periods has also become a tool of power. At times, belief has been maintained through fear, social pressure, or even violence. This has led many people to assume that religion always comes with imposition. But the approach of Siddhartha Gautama is entirely different. In his teachings, there is no concept of an absolute truth that must not be questioned, nor is there any eternal judgment for those who do not believe. He did not ask anyone to follow him, nor did he demand loyalty. The only thing he emphasized was self-observation and direct experience. A learner is not a follower, but someone who sees and understands for themselves. There is a story often told when asked about the existence of the soul. The Buddha did not give a definitive answer, neither affirming nor denying, not because he did not know, but because any answer could easily cause the listener to cling to a viewpoint. If he said yes, people would cling to that yes. If he said no, they would fall into attachment to that no. Both become limitations of thought. What truly matters is not the answer, but seeing clearly how the mind clings to concepts. This is a major difference. Many systems of thought seek followers, while Buddhism encourages observers. One looks outward for answers, the other turns inward to see directly. Most systems clearly define what is right and wrong. But in Buddhism, even what is considered right is not meant to be held onto forever. It is simply a tool for a particular stage. For example, the Four Noble Truths are considered central, yet the Buddha compared his teachings to a raft, something used to cross a river, not something to carry for life. Similarly, scriptures and precepts have value, but they are not the final goal. If one clings only to the form without understanding, they become an outer shell, losing their true meaning. Once, a practitioner asked, if one perfectly follows all precepts, is enlightenment guaranteed? The answer was no. If one focuses only on meditation and ignores everything else, is that enough? Also no. This shows that there is no fixed formula that guarantees the result. What truly matters is not the form of practice, but the awareness present in each moment when you clearly see what is happening within your own mind. For this reason, Buddhism cannot easily be confined to a doctrine or a rigid system. The moment you try to define it, you turn it into a concept while its true nature lies in direct experience. In the Heart Sutra, there are passages that confuse many people, such as the negation of both ignorance and the end of ignorance. This is not meant to create contradiction, but to break attachment to concepts. Even enlightenment is just a label. If you cling to it as a fixed goal, it becomes another form of attachment. So why are there so many schools, rituals, and different methods within Buddhism? The answer is simple. They are skillful means. Each path suits different people and different circumstances. Some approach through meditation, others through chanting, some through life experience, and others begin with the breath. But all of these are just different paths. What matters is not to mistake the path for the destination. There is no single path that is absolutely right, and no system of thought that must be held onto as an unchanging truth. If you've ever been around someone whose mere presence makes your mind feel lighter, it's not because they speak eloquently or argue well. It's because they live in a quiet, natural, and deeply grounded way without trying to prove anything. A person like that has moved beyond the boundaries of dogma non. That is the very essence of Buddhism. So if you ask what the absolute truth in Buddhism is, the answer is there is no fixed framework at all, precisely because it isn't confined. Buddhism remains flexible. It doesn't become frozen in the past or turn into mechanical repetition. It stays alive in each present moment. Today, science has advanced to the point where it can measure many phenomena, tracking brain activity when we think about someone, identifying fear through heart rate, even building artificial intelligence. that simulates human thinking. In neuroscience, researchers can sometimes infer the content of thoughts based on which areas of the brain are activated. For example, whether you're recalling an image or a number. In the future, technology may go even further, and yet there is something that seems to lie beyond all of this measurement: awareness. Not because technology isn't advanced enough, but because the nature of awareness does not belong to thought or brain activity. It is not. What is thinking it is what knows that thinking is happening. Ask yourself this. When you realize that you are angry, what is it that recognizes that anger? When you become aware that you're being carried away by emotion, who is it that sees it? In the moment you notice your mind wandering, that noticing is not a thought, not an emotion, not a sensory experience. It is a quiet form of knowing. Without shape, without words, simply awareness. Science can record the brain's reactions, but it cannot reach this knowing, because every measurement turns something into an object of observation. While this knowing is the very subject that observes, it cannot be turned into an object. It cannot be placed on a laboratory table, modeled, or expressed through equations. It is the foundation of all experience, never directly seen, yet making everything else visible. In Buddhism, this is called awareness or mindfulness. It is not something mystical or supernatural, nor is it a special kind of energy. It is simply the absence of confusion. When a thought arises, you see it without being carried away. When an emotion appears, you recognize it without being controlled by it. When you eat, you know you are eating. When you breathe, you feel each breath clearly. It is a return to the present moment, not lost in the past or drifting into imagined futures. Science struggles to measure this because awareness does not produce strong signals. It does not stimulate the nervous system in an obvious way. It is quiet, clear, present, but not on display. A person in deep meditation can sit for hours in stillness, undisturbed by thought. Machines may record brainwave patterns like alpha or theta waves, but those are only biological expressions. What is truly happening in the deeper layers of the mind cannot be measured, because this knowing is not an electrical signal. It does not emit or perform, it simply sees. It sees without interfering, knows without analyzing, illuminates without needing proof. Perhaps that is why, when touching this depth, even some scientists begin to let go of the desire to measure everything. As Einstein once suggested, the true wonder is not the universe itself, but the human ability to recognize that wonder. Stay tuned. The next part might surprise you.